video, I'm going to show you step by step on how to change the brake rotors and pads in the rear end of a Nissan Xterra. So follow along, we'll get this job done and get this vehicle back on the road. The first thing we need to do is jack up the car. Leave your jack under it and put a jack stand under it, just as an extra safety precaution. And then we're going to go ahead and remove the rear wheel. I've already got all the lug nuts loose. I'm just going to spin them off with this impact. We need to remove the caliper, and there's going to be two 14mm bolts, one right there at the top, and then we have another one right there. So go ahead and loosen those up and pull the caliper off. Now there's no good place to kind of put this caliper. You don't want it just hanging. So I made up some zip ties. I'm going to zip tie this up and out of the way. Just kind of like that. You just don't want it hanging on your brake hose. Now that we have our caliper hanging safely out of the way, we need to remove the caliper bracket, which is this right here. Then we can remove the pads and the rotor. So on the back side, there's two 19mm bolts. They're kind of hidden. There's one right there, and then the other one is right here. So go ahead and remove those, and then we can pull off the caliper bracket. Now we can take the rotor off, and if it's kind of stuck, you can take a plastic hammer like this and hit it from the back side, and it should come right off. And now you can slide on your new brake rotor, and I always use these coated brake rotors. You don't even have to clean them. If you don't use the coated, you're going to need to use brake clean and clean their rotors really well. But with these coated ones, they don't show rust very much even after a couple years, and you don't have to clean them. Installing new calipers, but it's just going to be the same assembly process. So you need to put your caliper bracket on next with those larger 19mm bolts. Now these caliper bracket bolts should be torqued to 110 foot-pounds. Your caliper bracket on, it's time to put on your caliper hardware, which are these two pieces right here. They just fit right into the caliper bracket. And then you're going to use some brake grease, which is usually supplied with whatever brakes you get. But you're going to put brake grease on the hardware, just right here and right here where the actual pads slide. And then just slide your pads in. The pad here on the front has this kind of a bracket on it. The pad in the back does not have anything. So if you take a look at this one, this would be the front side, or the side nearest you. And then the pad with nothing on it is the one that's going to go on the back side. So now we need to squeeze in the caliper so that it fits over the thickness of the brake pads. In order to squeeze in the piston on the caliper, you can take one of the old pads, set it right here, and then grab a large C-clamp like this one, and then you simply put the C-clamp on the pad and on the back side of the caliper, tighten up the C-clamp, and that's what's going to squeeze in the piston. If you have a large channel lock pliers that with adjustable jaws, you can also grab it on here and squeeze in. Just put the old pad on here and squeeze with whatever you use so you don't mar up this surface. Now that you've got the caliper piston depressed, it should go right over top of your new brake pads. And now we just need to put our two bolts back in here to hold the caliper to the bracket. If you have a torque wrench, you're going to torque these bolts to 20 foot-pounds. These don't need to be that tight. You definitely can over tighten and strip these out. right, now we need to go ahead and torque the lug nuts. We can just slowly let the jack down. Now we're just going to take the car for a quick little drive. We're going to make sure there's no weird noises or weird sounds. If there is, we know exactly which wheel it is. Now if you go ahead and just do both rear, or if you do all four and take it out for a drive and hear some weird sounds, you don't quite know which one is the problem. But if you do one wheel at a time, try it out, you'll be able to pinpoint any problems that you may incur. Alright, so I've taken it for about a 2-mile loop. I've hit the brakes a couple times. I hear no unusual noises, no unusual sounds. So now we'll go ahead and move on to the other side. Over here on the other side, and I've got this side all done, ready for the wheel to get put back on. It's basically the exact same thing as the other side. So once you get one side done, the other side's pretty much the same thing.